Look at your phone right now. Not a single notification. That message you've been waiting for weeks, maybe months, still hasn't arrived. That call that should have rung is long overdue. And you're starting to wonder, deep down, if God has forsaken you. I'm going to answer you straight, no beating around the bush, because today is no day for flowery words. He has not forsaken you. I'm not here to fill you with pretty verses and send you away just the same way you arrived. I'm here today to warn you about something serious. That message will arrive. That call will ring. That name you pray to see on your screen will appear. But before that happens, there are 3 things the Lord wants you to understand first. And if you stay with me until the end, what I'm going to reveal near the end of this video will change forever the way you wait for the answers of the Lord. I know exactly what you're feeling at this moment. That tightness in your chest every time the phone vibrates and you rush to it, and when you look, it's just a store advertisement. That silent disappointment when you go to sleep expecting an answer and wake up to an empty screen. That strange feeling of carrying the device with you all day, in the bathroom, in the kitchen, on the nightstand, afraid of missing the exact second the notification will arrive. You're not crazy. You're not overreacting. You're not being needy. You're living through one of the most difficult phases of spiritual waiting, the phase where the silence begins to hurt, more than bad news ever would. And look, I've heard this story hundreds of times with people your age, people over 35, 40, 50, and everyone describes the same thing. A mother waiting for her estranged child to send a simple good morning. A man waiting for the call from the doctor with the results of that test he took 2 weeks ago. A woman waiting for that ex to acknowledge their mistake and come back home. A father waiting to hear the voice of the daughter who stopped answering after that silly fight that no one even remembers the reason for anymore. An unemployed worker in his late 40s waiting for the company to call back regarding the interview he had almost a month ago. And in all these cases, without a single exception, there is one thing in common that no one realizes at the time. And this is the truth that no one tells you. God's timing is not the timing of your clock. What seems like a delay to you, to Him, is surgical precision. That message hasn't arrived yet because the person on the other side isn't spiritually ready to send it yet. That call hasn't come because the heart of the one who needs to call is still hardened, and the Lord is softening that heart slowly, in the way only He knows how to do, without forcing, without violating anyone's will, but without giving up for a single day. And while this is happening behind the scenes, you're here staring at the screen thinking you're alone in this wait. But you're not. There are spiritual gears turning all around you right now, even as you watch this video. And that is exactly why I need to tell you something before we continue. You did not arrive at this video by chance. Think with me. You could be watching anything else right now. Recipes, news, football, soap operas, any nonsense. But you are here. Exactly today, exactly on this day when the silence weighs more than it did yesterday. And this, my friend, is not mere coincidence. You were led here. There is a spiritual purpose in this, and I believe with all my heart that the Lord placed this video in your path to warn you that the wait is nearing its end. But I also know that many who are watching now are going through a moment much deeper than just waiting for a phone call. There is someone watching this video right now who is afraid of the future, afraid for their family, afraid of what is coming, afraid of what the Bible calls judgment, and what many feel is near, but cannot explain why. If you feel this pounding in your chest right now, pay attention. That is why I prepared a powerful digital book for you, titled How to Know If the Lord Will Save You on Judgment Day. This book is not just any book. It is transforming the lives of men and women of your age all across America, people who lived in anguish, people who didn't sleep well, people who felt something was wrong but couldn't name it. The link is in the description of this video and also pinned at the top of the comments, and I ask you one thing: don't put it off. We never know how long we will be able to keep this type of content online. If the Lord placed this warning in front of you today, it is today that you must act. Go there now, download the book, and then come back to finish the video with me. And if you have felt until now that this message is resonating within you, write the word Amen in the comments, because I will read them one by one and pray for each name. Now come back with me, because the most important part is starting. I told you at the beginning that there were 3 things the Lord wanted you to understand. The first has to do with the sign you are already seeing, but haven't recognized yet. Think about this. In the last few weeks, have you had that strange restlessness in your chest? That sudden urge to pray, even when you weren't thinking about the Lord? That feeling that something good is coming, even without an apparent reason? Have you been waking up in the middle of the night with that exact thought about this person, this subject, this answer you are waiting for? Well, that is not nervousness. That is not insomnia. That is not something your head is inventing just because you want to feel it. A restless heart before the answer is a spiritual pattern that repeats throughout the entire Bible. Anne, the mother of the prophet Samuel, felt this. She wept in the temple, she was restless, she prayed so much that the priest thought she was drunk. And what she waited for arrived. David felt this before being called to reign. He was tending to the sheep, but his heart was already elsewhere. Mary felt this before the angel appeared. There was a weight inside her that no one could explain. Every time someone was about to receive a massive answer from the Lord, that person first felt a restlessness that seemed to have no reason. And that is exactly what you are feeling right now. This tightness you cannot explain, this expectation that feels like it's going to burst inside your chest, this thought that returns on its own to your mind every time you relax, is the silent warning that the spiritual gears are already moving. It is no coincidence. But there is a second thing the Lord wants you to understand, and this second part is more subtle, more discreet, and that is why most people miss it. Have you ever stopped to notice the seemingly random encounters that have been happening in your life lately? That person you hadn't seen in a long time and crossed paths with at the grocery store, that conversation that started out of nowhere at the bakery and touched you in a strange way, that subject that came up 3 times in different places, on the car radio, in the church sermon, from the mouth of a neighbor whose name you didn't even know. That number that keeps appearing in everything you see, 711, 333, 2112. That Bible passage you opened to by accident, and it was exactly about what you were feeling. That dream about the person you're waiting to hear from, so real that you woke up with your heart pounding. All of this together is not coincidence. When the Lord is preparing a big answer in your life, He starts leaving clues along the path. He starts to confirm for you, in little pieces, that something is coming. It's like when you're waiting for a package and you start getting a notification that it's out for delivery, and then another that it's nearby, and one more that it's arriving now. The Lord does the same thing in the spiritual realm. He sends these small signs so you don't lose heart in the final mile. The problem is that we live so fast-paced, with our heads so full of bills, problems, and bad news on television, that we don't notice the messages that are arriving all the time. Then comes the third thing, and this one you need to hear slowly. I'll tell you in a bit, but first I want to remind you of something important. If you feel that this message is touching exactly where it hurts, leave a thumbs up here on the video. This helps other people who are in the same weight as you to be found by this word, and if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, do it now and hit the bell, because important things are coming. There is a message the Lord gave me to deliver this week that I know will move people who really need it. And I'll tell you something before the third revelation, because I feel in the Spirit that there are people here, waiting for an answer so big, so important, that if it doesn't come, life changes for the worse. There's a mother watching right now with a wayward child. There's a man watching with his marriage hanging by a thread. There's a woman watching with her health dangling on an exam result. There's a father watching with fear of not seeing his grandchild anymore. If you are one of these people, I need you to understand that this wait isn't just about what you will receive. It's about who you will become while you wait. And it is precisely because of this spiritual pressure that many are living through right now, that I made the material I mentioned at the beginning. That is why I prepared the powerful digital book for you. This book will teach you how to see the signs the Lord is sending you before Judgment Day. It will show you how to spiritually protect your family in this time of uncertainty, and it will give you answers that perhaps even your church pastor hasn't given you yet. The link is pinned at the top of the comments and also in the description. Go there, download it. It's fast, it's simple, and let me know in the comments when you have it in hand, because I want to know. Now the third thing, and this is the one that changes everything. Are you ready? The Lord isn't holding back that message or call because you did something wrong. He is holding it back because you aren't ready to receive it yet. And look, I know that sounds hard to hear. The first reaction is to think, but how am I not ready? I prayed, I cried, I fasted, I went to church, I did everything I could do. Calm down. Not being ready doesn't mean you failed. It means that if that answer arrived in your hands today, the way you are today, it would destroy you instead of building you up. And the Lord, as a good father, does not give a knife for a child to play with. Think about it with me. If your child who is estranged were to call you today, right now, at this exact second, and you still carried that bitter resentment deep in your chest, what would come out of your mouth? Probably a poorly thought-out sentence. Probably an accusation. Probably a complaint disguised as longing. And then, instead of the reconciliation you prayed so much for, it would turn into another fight, another estrangement, another piece of a wall between you. If that doctor's call came today with good news, but your heart was still so full of fear that you didn't know how to trust the Lord afterward, you would be healed on the outside, but sick on the inside for the rest of your life. If that ex were to reach out today to get back together, but your soul was still full of unhealed wounds, you would restart exactly where you left off, and in 3 months, you would be broken again. The Lord holds back the answer because He wants it to be a true answer, and not just a momentary relief that turns into a bigger problem later. And that is why this waiting period is so important. He is not punishing you, He is forming you. Every day that passes without that message, without that call, is a day that the Lord is working on 2 people at the same time. On you, to prepare you to receive without breaking. And on the other person, to prepare their heart to seek you out the right way. It is a double-sided work happening in silence. And when both sides are ready, at the exact second when both hearts are aligned, then the answer arrives. Not before, not after. At the exact moment that will yield the fruit the Lord wants to produce. But there is more. And here is where I need you to pay extra attention, because most people waiting for an answer from the Lord make a fatal mistake that delays the arrival of the answer even further. And this mistake is simple to explain, but difficult to admit. The mistake is trying to rush the Lord. Have you ever found yourself dropping hints on social media, hoping the person sees it? Have you found yourself calling from an unknown number just to see if they answer? Have you found yourself asking a mutual acquaintance to drop a hint, to probe, to say something? Have you found yourself posting that old photo, that song, that caption, hoping someone understands? Well, every time you do this, you set back the spiritual clock of the Lord by another day, because the Lord needs that person to return by the initiative of their own heart, touched by the Holy Spirit, and not by guilt, pity, or disguised pressure that you planted. When you try to force the issue, you take the Lord's place in the other person's life, and the Lord, who is a gentleman, takes a step back and says, "Fine, since you want to solve it yourself, I will let you try." And then you spend months trying, with no results, until you grow tired and go back to your knees. Only when you return the case to Him in full surrender do the spiritual gears start moving again. I've seen a mother wait 10 years for her son to come home, and he returned on the exact day she stopped asking and started trusting. I've seen a wife pray 15 years for her husband's conversion, and he surrendered to Christ on an ordinary Tuesday, after she stopped preaching to him and started living the gospel in silence. I have seen people wait 5 years for a labor lawsuit result, and the victory came the month they stopped hounding their lawyer every day. There is a pattern. There always is. And the name of this standard is surrender. Not the soap opera surrender, that romanticized thing of raising your hands to the sky and faking peace. I'm talking about the surrender of aching knees, the surrender of someone who has cried all there was to cry and discovered that there was still peace left deep in their chest. The surrender of someone who has accepted that the answer might come in a different way than expected and is okay with that. Because it is only at this point that the Lord releases the arrival. It is only when you truly let go that He delivers. It seems unfair, but there is spiritual logic to it, and the logic is this. If the answer arrived before you let go, you would cling to the answer instead of clinging to the Lord who gave the answer. And the Lord wants to be loved for who He is, not for what He gives you. Now I know there are people watching who are thinking, but how do I let go? How do I trust? How do I stop checking my phone? How do I sleep at night without overthinking? I'm going to teach you 3 practical things you can do still today, even before this video ends. that will begin to unlock what is jammed in your spiritual gears. The first thing, and it seems silly but it isn't, is to pray a specific prayer of surrender regarding this situation. Not a generic prayer. A prayer with the person's name, with the exact subject, with the clear request and total surrender. You say it like this: Lord, I surrender this person's name to you. I surrender this situation to you. I surrender this waiting to you. I don't know what else to do. I release it from my hands. Do whatever you want, in the way you want, in God's timing. I trust you, and that's it. Get up. Don't go back to negotiating. Don't keep asking how long it will take. You surrendered it, you let go, it's over. And every day that the thought of taking back control comes, you remind yourself, I have already surrendered this. It is no longer mine. The second thing is to stop monitoring. Stop looking at your phone every 5 minutes. Stop stalking the person's profile on social media. Stop asking acquaintances if they've seen, heard, or know anything. Every time you monitor, you spiritually reinforce doubt and anxiety. And where there is doubt and anxiety, the miracle is delayed. If you want to accelerate the arrival of the answer, do the opposite of what your desperation is telling you to do. Put the phone down. Go take care of yourself. Go for a walk. Tidy your house. Talk to someone who is good for you. Cook something delicious. Start living again, because your life cannot stay at a standstill, waiting for the screen to light up. The third thing, and this is the most healing, is to start being grateful for the answer before it arrives. I know it sounds strange, but it works. Every morning, before picking up your phone to check notifications, you say out loud, even if you're alone, in the bathroom, in the kitchen, wherever you like, thank you, Lord, for the message that is coming. Thank you for the call that will ring. Thank you for the answer that is on its way. Even if it hasn't arrived yet, you give thanks as if it already had. This changes your spiritual frequency. This changes your emotional field. This prepares your heart to receive it without breaking when the phone finally rings. And it is here, at this very point, that I need to speak with you about something very serious. Because there are people watching right now who are waiting for an answer so big, so definitive, that if this answer does not come, or if it comes in the wrong way, life will change for the much worse. And many people are feeling deep in their chests that time is running short, that something different is happening in America, in the world, in the family, inside the home, that the signs are intensifying. And you are not wrong to feel this. That is why I prepared the powerful digital book for you, the very same one I already told you about, How to Know If the Lord Will Save You on Judgment Day. This book answers the question that is keeping you awake, even if you haven't been able to phrase it quite right yet. You will understand if you and your loved ones are on the list of the protected. You will understand what to do now before it is too late. Hundreds of families have already been transformed after reading it. The link is pinned down below in the description and at the top of the comments. It costs nothing for you to open it and take a look, but I warn you from the heart, we never know how long this material will be available. If the Lord placed it in front of you today, today is the day. Comment below with the word received so I know you understood the message. Now let me return to the central message, because there is still something far too important for you to hear. I told you that message or call will come, but I haven't yet told you the most beautiful detail of it all. When it comes, it won't arrive the way you imagined. And look, this might be good or it might be hard to accept, but it is the truth. The Lord almost never answers the way we imagined. He answers the way we needed, and those two ways are almost never the same. You might be expecting a long phone call with a detailed apology, with tears on the other side, with everything you rehearsed in your head 1,000 times, and when it comes, it might be a short message. A simple, "Hi, Mum, how are you?" "Good night, Grandma." A "Thank you for the money you sent me." It might seem like little, but it is the beginning of a reconstruction. You might be waiting for a call from the doctor with the perfect news, and when it comes, it might be a call with partial news, but with a clear path to healing ahead. You might be waiting for that ex to come back begging, and when it comes, it might be them reaching out for a simple coffee with no promises to talk calmly. It won't be the way you dreamed. It will be the way that fits into real life, which has weight, which has consequence, which has dignity, but it will come. And when it comes, you will understand that it was exactly as it had to be. And there is another detail. The answer rarely arrives at the moment you foresee. It will arrive when you are not expecting it. It will arrive in the middle of an ordinary afternoon while you are making the afternoon coffee. It will arrive in the early hours of the morning when you had already silenced the notification sounds. It will arrive on a Sunday when you decided to unplug from the world. It will arrive at a moment when you were finally at peace with the possibility of it never arriving. And it is exactly in this moment of peace that the Lord releases it. Because the peace that precedes the arrival is the proof that you have finally trusted. Now I want to tell you a story that has everything to do with this. There is a lady named Marilyn out in the countryside of the Heartland who came to comment on one of my videos a while back. She had a son who had been estranged for 8 years. He'd had a terrible falling out with his father, left home, moved to another city and never called again. Marilyn told me that every night she prayed the rosary with her son's name on her lips. Every night she imagined a different scenario for their reunion. One time she imagined him appearing at her front door at Christmas. Another time she imagined him calling on her birthday. Another time she imagined him sending a letter. None of that happened, and she almost gave up several times, until one ordinary day, not a special date at all, she was in the backyard hanging laundry with her phone inside on the table, and when she walked back in, there was a message that read, "Mom, it's me." That was all. "Mom, it's me." And right there began the reconstruction of 8 years of silence, but it began. And she told me, with tears in her eyes, that that morning before hanging the clothes, she had prayed the prayer of full surrender. She had said, "Lord, if he never comes back, I will love the Lord all the same." I let go. And it was exactly on that day that he sent it. This is not a coincidence. This is a pattern that repeats so often it has become a spiritual law. Full surrender unlocks what demand had locked. And perhaps you need to hear this again, out loud, inside your head. Full surrender unlocks what demand had locked. And look, I know there are people watching right now who are like, "But I've already surrendered, I've already let go, I've already cried it all out." And still, the answer doesn't come. Calm down. There is another possibility we need to consider, and it is a possibility that hurts, but it is necessary. Sometimes the Lord isn't delaying. Sometimes the Lord is withholding. And withholding is different from delaying. Delaying is giving more time for the answer to arrive. Withholding is not allowing that answer, because it would hurt you more than it would help. Have you ever stopped to think that perhaps that person not seeking you out anymore is the greatest answer the Lord could give you? That job that didn't come back was to spare you from a boss who would have made you ill? That relationship that didn't reconcile was to save you from a lifetime of repeating the same cycles of pain? Sometimes the answer from the Lord is silence, and silence is also love. Silence is also protection. Silence is also the Lord saying, "My son, my daughter, I know what I am doing. Trust in me. There is something better in store." And if this is your case, I know it hurts to hear. But the pain now is less than the pain later. Let the Lord deliver you. Let the Lord protect you. Let the Lord rewrite the story in his own way, because he sees what you do not see. He sees the end from the beginning. He knows if that person, if that job, if that situation would elevate you or tear you down, and he only permits what elevates you. But there is a big difference between you accepting that perhaps the answer is silence and you giving up on waiting. These are distinct things. Accepting silence is resting in the will of the Lord. Giving up is surrendering to disbelief. And disbelief is the only sin that can take away your chance to see a miracle. So even when the silence prolongs, even when the screen remains dark, do not stop believing. Keep praying. Keep giving thanks. Keep trusting. Even if the answer never comes the way you want, it will come the way you need, and that way is always better. There is a passage in the Bible that I always remember in times like these. It's that story of Lazarus, the brother of Martha and Mary. Do you remember it? Lazarus fell ill, and his sisters sent for Jesus. And Jesus, who was a friend of the family, instead of rushing over, waited 2 days. Lazarus died. The sisters were devastated. When Jesus finally arrived, Martha ran out and said that phrase that makes your throat tighten. "Lord, if you had been here, my brother would not have died." And Mary later repeated the same thing. "Lord, if you had come, he would be alive." Both of them were expressing the same pain you are expressing now. Lord, if you had acted, this would not have happened. Lord, if you had answered in my time, I wouldn't be suffering. But Jesus had let time pass on purpose. Why? Because the glory of the Lord requires the right timing. If he had arrived sooner, it would have been just a healing. When he arrived later, it was a resurrection. And resurrection is something much greater than healing. Perhaps the Lord is delaying in your life because what he wants to do is not just healing, it is resurrection. Perhaps he doesn't just want to deliver that message to you. Perhaps he wants to resurrect that entire relationship. Perhaps he doesn't just want to give you that phone call. Perhaps he wants to remake that bond from scratch. And resurrection takes more time, but the result is incomparably better. So today, before ending this video, I want you to do one thing with me. Place your hand on your chest wherever you are right now. It doesn't matter if you're in the living room, the bedroom, on the bus, in the bathroom. Place your hand on your chest and take a deep breath and repeat with me. Even if it's only inside your head, Lord, I trust. Lord, I let go. Lord, in God's timing. There. It's done. You have just set the spiritual gears in motion. It might seem like little, but in the spiritual realm, this is worth more than 1,000 promises you never kept. And I feel that this word today was for someone very specific. There are people watching right now who needed to hear exactly this, exactly on this day, at this hour, in this phase of life. It was no accident. It was a divine appointment. And if you felt that this message was for you right below, it was for me. Write it in the comments because I will read it. I will read it with care, and I will pray for your name this week. I promise. I set aside time during the week to pray for the comments one by one for the names that appear on the profiles. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, do it now. Turn on the bell, because I feel that important messages are coming to be delivered in the next few days, and I don't want you to miss any. I will close this video the way it began, directly. That message will arrive, that phone will ring. That name you hope to see will appear on your screen. But perhaps not today. Perhaps not tomorrow. Perhaps at the moment you least expect, on an ordinary day at a common hour. And when it arrives, you will remember this video, and you will understand that everything needed to be exactly as it was. Each tear, each sleepless night, each silence, each wait. Everything served to prepare you to receive. And I need to tell you one last thing before we say goodbye, because what I feel in my spirit won't let me finish without speaking of this. There is something in the air right now, and you feel it. You feel it when you watch the news. You feel it when you look at your children. You feel it when you read the Bible and everything seems to be coming to pass right before your eyes. This time we are living in is not just any time, and it is no exaggeration. It is not fanaticism. It is not silly fear. It is spiritual discernment awakening within you. And precisely because I know this is striking your heart right now, that is why I prepared a powerful digital book for you called How to Know If the Lord Will Save You on Judgment Day. This is not a book for your collection. This is a book to read now these days, before life accelerates even more. It will deliver to you the answers your soul has been asking for months. It will teach you how to protect your family. It will give you peace in the midst of the chaos that is to come. The link is down below in the description and at the top of the comments. Click, download, read. Do not leave it for later, because later may be too late. And when you download it, come back here and comment the word Amen, because I want to know who was obedient to the call tonight. The Lord bless you. The Lord bless your family. The Lord bless that waiting period, and may that message arrive soon. Amen.